So hello and welcome to the recap of the 6th round of this year's league. The 6th round is now a bit different than the rounds before because the round 6 was the original date of round 6 was skipped. So this round was actually played after round 7. So I will try to avoid spoilers, but at some point I have to say something what happened in the round 7 game that was played before. So there is a bit of a different situation here, but I also don't really want to say what the result was of the round 7. So just that you know, after round 5, we were in the league, in the table, in the first place because we won the first 5 matches. But after the round 7 recap, I will again explain everything, what's the position in the league and so on. But just for now, I will leave it like that. We were after round 5 in the lead of the table, and this round was played after round 7. So there's a bit of a mix-up, but I think it does not really matter for the recap of this match that much, and I just will jump in and tell you the result and everything. And I think just for the recap of this single game, it doesn't matter anyway. So just let me begin. I have the white pieces this time again. I have a bit higher rating than my opponent. I just have the ELO ratings here, so I have still 1904 here. My opponent has 1883. His German rating is a bit lower, so there I'm 150 points up. So I'm still the favorite, but not as much as in the previous games. Okay, so just let's start with the recap then. So I start here like I typically do with c4. My opponent played d6. I played the knight out on f3, and my opponent played the knight to f6. I played g3 to the fianchetto, and now my opponent played bishop to g4. So here a bit unusual move to me, so I did not really know how to react, so I just played on the natural moves. So bishop to g2, my opponent played the other knight out, and here I played h3. So I just wanted to force him to move the bishop out or away from my out of the diagonal, so that the e-pawn is, the e-pawn is not really pinned, but I mean that the bishop does not really target on the queen. He played, or the second idea is that if I would have just castled here, then he could play like queen d7, and then I cannot play h3 anymore. So that's why I played it in this at this spot at this time. But he moved the bishop back to h5. So this was a bit annoying because I did not want to play g4. I did not want to weaken the king's position. The computer says, okay, g4 is the best move, but I did not really like that. So instead, I also did not castle. So I played d4 just to get a bit more pawns into the center. My opponent played now a bit of a passive move. He just played e6, not e5. Maybe he wants to keep the e5 square free for the knight. I don't know. But yeah, that was the move that he played. Then I played the knight to c3. He played the bishop to e7, and now this was for me the time to castle. And now he made a move that I did not really understand, or that surprised me. That was the rook to b8. Apparently also a mistake, says the computer. And here I was already thinking, okay, he moved the knight there. I mean, it kind of, there is an understandable idea that the bishop is targeting this diagonal, so this pawn and this rook. So putting the rook here makes sense, kind of. But now the a3 pawn is, sorry, the a7 pawn is not really protected. Huh? And when the queen goes here, I mean, the queen is also on the diagonal with the king, so there are some ideas that can be dangerous. And so my idea was now to play d5 to kick out that knight and make queen a4 possible with check, so that I can win the a7 pawn, right? So what he did now was first trade here the bishop with the knight, so I have to take back. It's pretty clear to me that he wants to play the knight to e5 as a next move, so I take here with the pawn so that he does not attack my bishop, and then he plays exactly as expected the knight to e5. And yeah, now I can play my plan. So I can play the queen here, make basically a fork, check on the king and on the a7 pawn, and just win the pawn. So the only thing that's a bit bad for me was this pawn. So the knight is attacking the c4 pawn. What I did not see in that position is that this is not really the case, because when the knight takes c4, I can play the queen to this spot, and then it's also a fork to king and knight, and I just win the knight. So this pawn is not really hanging, and this is why in this position actually the move f4 is the strongest, to kick the knight away again, and then you can still play here. I mean, when the knight goes here, it's not a fork anymore, not a check. So yeah, I probably don't win the pawn, but I have a lot more space advantage and everything. But okay, I did not see that. I play a bit more materialist, so I see I can win a pawn, then I win a pawn. I play the queen here, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much what he plays here. So I prepared for a knight, and then I can kick this knight away so that this pawn is not attacked anymore, and then I take the a7 pawn. What he does is actually the best move, playing the queen in between. I also expected or calculated that, but I thought it's fine, because now I just take that pawn and I attack this rook, right? So now he has to first react with the rook, and then I can still get the queen somehow back and protect that pawn. And yeah, so there's not really an issue with that. And he makes the move that I expected, so just castling. So the rook is protected, and he can also make something like a counterattack. So rook to a8 is actually working already in this position, because I cannot take the b7 pawn, because then the second rook comes here, and then the queen has no escape route. And so this is the position where I have to make a little spoiler to round 7, because in round 7 I had the black pieces, so it was a different opening and everything was different, but I had also the queen on the edge of the board, and I had big trouble to get the queen back into the game. So it was not really an issue that the queen gets really trapped, but it was the queen was always very passive, and yeah, so I had issues there. And yeah, I mean, there's the saying that you should not play your last games or your past games, but yeah, in the end, it was a bit what I did. So in this position, I had the issue, okay, this pawn is now really attacked, so I have to do something about it, and the queen is on the edge of the board. And I had two candidate moves, so the one was b3 to protect that pawn, but I mean, I can escape with the queen. I can still, after rook a8, move the queen here, and when the rook does not move, I can move the queen back here, and then yeah, somehow back into my position. But with with me remembering my last game, I made the move that made the most sense for me. I played queen to d4, so bringing the queen back into the game and protecting the pawn in parallel. And so there is one move that I calculated, of course, but I did not calculate far enough. So c5. So I'm just going into the variation. So I could calculate c5, and I thought, okay, no problem. I make en passant. Queen takes, and I protect this pawn, and everything is fine. But I missed that when the queen is here, this pawn is hanging. So you can just take here, and okay, I have to trade, and now it's basically equal. So all advantage is gone. So yeah, I missed this idea. I thought, okay, I can just protect the pawn and everything is fine, but that this pawn is hanging, I missed. But yeah, my opponent also didn't see it. My opponent played in this position h6, so just to delay my development a bit. I mean, I did not have any issues with that because I wanted to develop my bishop anyway with b3 and bishop to b2, but yeah, so that I see the idea. Okay, so in around this time, the computer always advises me to play d takes e6 in most positions. I guess the idea is that I should avoid that that my opponent takes on d5, because then I kind of have to take back with the pawn, and then I get an isolated queen's pawn. So in this position, I think this is the only move where this is not the threat, because the queen protects it, and yeah. But in most moves, the computer advises to take the pawn here. But yeah, that did not come up with me, that idea, and yeah, I felt like the pawn here is good anyway. But so I tried then to finish development and develop the bishop then via this route. I mean, having this pawn chain is anyway great. And now my opponent did exactly that. He took on d5. I have to take back. I mean, knight is the best, otherwise I get this isolated pawn. He takes again, and okay, I have to take with the queen. I mean, I can take with the pawn, but really I want to also keep this diagonal open. So queen takes is fine. And then he plays the bishop on the diagonal. Here again, there is, to my feeling, just one move. Just go away with the rook, because now the threat knight takes f3 with check, and then winning the rook is there. The computer just says, okay, no problem, just develop this bishop to e3. Nothing happens, because then when the knight takes, so I just say, I just show it, go here. When the knight takes, you can just take back. Does not really matter with what. And now you have two bishops for a rook. And that is a good advantage. Yeah? I did not see that, but yeah, it totally makes sense. So this is also another way to have an advantage. But I played the for myself easy to understand move. Just go away with the rook, and I want to play anyway bishop b2. So the rook on b1 protects the b2 square. So this is anyway great for me. So I played this move. It's nearly as good as developing the bishop to e3. And okay, I don't see why the bishop is so great on e3. I want to have it on b2 to just target everything. Yeah, so yeah, this is more my plan, getting the bishop here and then getting an attack via the diagonal. I can support it with f4, maybe this bishop in here, that we have also an attack here, or rerouting the bishop via e4 to c2, and then the queen in the diagonal, something like that. Okay, so my opponent makes a logical move, bringing the rook in the open file. Totally a normal move. I play the bishop to b2 to the diagonal, and now he kicks out my queen from that position. Okay, so here I have basically just two reasonable moves. I mean, I can also move the queen over here. But the question is just, where do I retreat with the queen, d2 or d1? So I decided I go to d2, so I can maybe go out here again, still attacking this pawn, supporting the f4, so it cannot be that terrible. So I thought on d1 the queen is a bit stopped behind the own pawns. It's not that great. So he makes now also an attack move, developing the pieces more towards my king's position and attacking with the queen and the knight again. The f3 pawn, or I mean, again, no, it's the first time that he really attacks the f3 pawn with 2 pieces. Yeah, in that position, is kind of just one move. How to protect that pawn? This is just moving the pawn up. So this is again also a counterattack on the knight. The bishop is open. I mean, it's not really open because the pawns are stopping the bishop pretty well, but I mean, he cannot really play d5 anymore. So it's just advantages. Okay, he retreats the knight to g6. And here so this was one of the positions where I really had, or I really invested a lot of time to think. Because there is one obvious move. This pawn is unprotected, so queen takes d6 is a very understandable move, but the problem is when I play queen d6, I can just bring the second rook b to d8 over, and then he has 2 rooks in the 2 open files, and he can just go to the second rank and attack everything. So I feared he has really big counterplay. I'm up to 2 pawns, but he has big counterplay, and I thought then, well, when the queen takes here, I can still make something like queen c7 or maybe a queen b4. So I attack this pawn, and yeah, maybe this is enough to force him to leave at least 1 rook behind. Or also to have some kind of attack. And then I decided, okay, I don't have also no better idea. I mean, there is just 1 pawn hanging, so I played the queen to d6. Okay. And in this position, he attacked the queen, but to my surprise, with a different piece. Yeah? He played bishop e7. Okay, so this is also somehow understandable, also attacking the queen, but I felt it's not that strong, like bringing the rooks into the open files. Okay, so the next thing I thought about was, okay, where do I want to put that queen? Because I have to do something with the queen. And I felt like, okay, I want to trade queens because I'm now up 2 pieces. When I trade 2 pawns, not 2 pieces, but when I can trade the queen, there are not really that many mating threat options. Okay, he can still put a rook probably on the second rank, but without queen, there are not that many threats. So my idea was bringing the queen back to d1 and then to g4. Yeah, and if he does not trade, then I have some attack on the king. So that was the plan. But I also had a second plan or a second idea. So I wanted to trade the bishops. So in this position, I cannot trade bishops. I want that his bishop is again on f6. So this was the idea that I played an intermediate move. So I played the queen to d4. Now he made the move that I expected, bringing the bishop back. And now I go to the d1 square so that I can go out to g4 and also threaten here to a trade. I mean, it's not that not such a big threat, but I mean, it's a trade. Okay. Now he makes a move I expected before. He brings in the second rook. Now he really has 2 rooks that can all go to the second rank. That's a bit scary, but I thought, okay, I bring out now the queen. So I threaten trading queens. I can also trade this bishop. So I can trade so many pieces, even when it's possible for him to bring both rooks down here on the second rank. I should be able to hold. So 1 rook defending that pawn and the 1 rook and king defending the pawn. He cannot really do anything against it with just 2 rooks. So he just does not have enough material. So I did not really fear that so much. And okay, so what my opponent now did was a move that pretty much surprised me. So he did not trade, but he retreated the queen to a5, which on a first look then again totally makes sense. So he's attacking now this pawn, so I have to react somehow again. So yeah, it's a meaningful move. But here my bishop in the diagonal, yeah, he has some threats. So the bishop can take here, and when he takes back, then suddenly this knight is pinned. Queen pins the knight to the king, and I thought, oh, I can play f5, attack the knight with a pawn, and then I just win a full piece. It does not exactly work like that, because he can play h5, and then, yeah, my queen cannot stay in the diagonal. So I just show it to you. So this was the line I calculated, takes, I move forward, and then this pawn, right? And now I cannot hold the pin, so I have to go somewhere like here. I expected, okay, knight goes probably here, and then he wins back the pawn down here. Or, I mean, I can protect it. So, but this could be some weakness that could fall soon, and my queen is, I mean, it looks dangerous, but my queen cannot really do that much here. I mean, okay, I can play f5, f4 maybe, kick the knight out, but it looks scary, but there is just no mating threat. But I win one pawn, so I thought, okay, it cannot be that bad, and the position looks really, it looks dangerous, even if there's nothing clear in to do, nothing clear in the air, it looks dangerous. So after he played that move, I thought, okay, so the easiest move that I have is just taking the bishop, because then I ruin his pawn structure. It doesn't really matter if there is a concrete attack on the king, or if I just push into an endgame where he has a bad pawn structure, everything is good. So I just take here. And now he made a second surprise move for me. So instead of taking back and I play f5 and then playing h5, he played immediately a h5, right? So this was a big surprise move to me, but I mean, I kind of understood it at that point. The thing is that this move is really, really losing, but I had to figure it out. So I thought in this position, okay, I have to react, maybe retreat the queen to f3. Yeah, so this was one move that I, one move that I first considered, moving here. So he takes here, I take here, 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 and then I'm ending up with the same position. Just that I'm now really losing this pawn because I have one tempo less. Yeah, so this was one idea that I had. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe it would be better to play and protect this pawn. So the idea was something like I protect that bishop, and then when he takes with the pawn, queen takes this pawn. So that was what I meant. So protecting the bishop, so when he takes with the pawn, I win that pawn, right? And the first move that came to my mind was queen h4. So the idea was queen h4, he takes here, I take here. The thing is, you can very quickly see that this doesn't work, but I was really focused, and I nearly hung my queen. I was very close to hanging my queen, playing the queen to h4, and then he can just take with the knight. So, but I was again thinking, if I figured it out, okay, no, better not hang the queen. What about queen g5? Right, and then I thought, okay, queen g5, he takes here, I take here. I have now the more valuable pawn. I can I won the more valuable pawn. So if he takes here, so that was kind of the idea. I move here, he takes here, I takes here, and when he takes here, I can move this up, and now it's all a lot more dangerous. Like when you play something like that, I can make here a check. The knight cannot come back. So when the king moves here or here, I can win this pawn. When he moves here, I can move probably check and then this pawn up. So yeah, it's really bad. So this was yeah, the one idea that I had. But then I figured out, okay, when the queen is here, he's also taking the black queen, and then he has to do something. So he probably has to take with the queen, and then I can take with the bishop, and then I don't lose the bishop anymore. So I'm up a bishop. And the queen cannot really go away, because then bishop takes here. So I played queen g5. And yeah, so in this position, my opponent resigned because this is, yeah, he's effectively losing a bishop. And then he's down a bishop and at least one pawn. Yeah. The funny thing is, this was actually not even the best move. So the best move in that position, so maybe you've seen it already while I was talking that much. The best move is this. You can just take the rook, and yeah, it doesn't matter when he takes the queen. The bishop can take the queen, and then you are up a full rook and a full piece. Oh, it's even more than I calculated before. Yeah, it's a full rook and a full piece, and this is also this is even more resignable. But yeah, so this was the variation I found, and yeah, it was already too bad for my opponent to continue, and yeah, so here he resigned. Okay, so in this round I was surprisingly again the first of my team to win. So normally I have the very long matches. Now I already won after the 26th move. So yeah, I had in this season a few very quick matches, or not very quick, but yeah, you know what I mean. Very quickly won matches, and yeah, I mean, so in the end, also the team has won. This time it was not a 8-0 or 7-1. I quickly need to check the actual result, how well we won in this this round. And just let me go to the position of round 6. So in round 6 we have won the match with 5.5 to 2.5. So four player of our team won. There were 3 draws and 1 loss in this round, but this was still very fine. So we have won. We are still yeah, not only unbeaten, but also we have not given away any team point. So first 5 rounds we had 10 out of 10 points. So this round again 2 points made. And okay, I will give you the position in the table after round 7, because like I said, beginning round 7 and round 6 were turned around. So the standings I will give you after round 7. And okay, so for today, I want to thank you again for watching the recap, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, then see you in a recap of round 7. And yeah, hope you will turn in again.